sound. Ringo TV. Ringo TV. Ringo TV.
Welcome to another edition of Black Male Advice TV. I'm your host, Ringo. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, and support the content.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Black Male Advice TV. I'm your host, Ringo, and we have an interesting topic for you today. Wow, let me see. Today's topic is going to be one of those topics where a lot of brothers are going to pretty much be put to the test, because we hear that men want to have multiple wives. We hear men, talking all this stuff about polygyny. But are these brothers prepared? Today's topic is, are all men prepared for polygyny? Are all men prepared for polygyny? That's today's topic. Are all men prepared for polygyny? Let's see. First thing I want to do is I want to throw a scripture on the screen. And I want people to pretty much get an understanding of this. All right, let's deal with this for a second before we focus on, are these men prepared for polygyny? All right. According to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11, it says, "When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." Wow. In today's culture, a lot of black men, a lot of men want to practice polygyny. They watch my videos and they say to themselves, well, I can have more than one wife because I watch Ringo's videos and I've been learning about this, and the Bible says this and nature says that, and everybody want to practice polygyny. All these brothers are lining up talking about how ready they are. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to having more than one wife, there are qualifications that pretty much can identify where you are as a man. I understand that as a man, you have a right to have more than one woman, more than one wife. But the truth be told, the majority of you brothers are not even married. Like, you don't even have one wife. You don't even have one wife. You don't even have children. So why are you focused on having multiple wives when you haven't even established a family yet? You see, when a man starts a business, he don't start the business and then while the business is pretty much in its beginning stages, he don't say to himself, you know what? Even though my new business haven't reached the level I wanted to reach, I'm going to go branch out and start a new business down the street. Nobody do that. When you have a McDonald's, right, and it's doing well, you'll open up another branch in another borough in a different part of the city because the business is doing well. And because it's doing well and you know how to operate the business, now it's time for you to create another branch. Do you feel me? So if you're a black man and you want to practice polygyny, my question to you is, have the first business you started been successful? The relationship that you're in right now, has it reached the level of you making that woman your wife? Because if you have not yet established a wife, right, you are not even fit to have more than one wife. You must understand that. Now, I know you think you could just go out there as a man, just do what you want. You're going to do what you want regardless. I can't stop you, brothers. But at the end of the day, I know it's not going to be successful. You know it's not going to be successful because you know you're not doing it properly. And this is where a lot of brothers fail when it comes to polygyny, because you go in it not to build. You go in it because you just want to deal with women on a sexual level. And I keep telling you, brothers, you can't do that. You can't go into polygyny focusing on sex. Okay, yeah, all these sisters are fine. Yeah, you want to get with them, blah, blah, blah. Brother, you got to establish a family first. Once you establish a family first and you learn how to coexist with a woman, and you go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And notice what I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're in a relationship and you never went through the good, the bad, and the ugly, you haven't been in a relationship yet. And to all you females who think that if you get into a relationship or a marriage, that everything is going to be good all the time and you expect it to be good, and the minute it go bad, you want to give up and throw in the towel, you're not built for no relationship. Because you think a relationship is perfect. You've been watching too much TV. We're talking about two people coming together. You're going to argue. You're going to clash. You're going to disagree. And that's just normal. That's how we come together. Right? But my point, brothers, is this. When you were a child, you thought as a child. You spake as a child. You did things based on your childish behaviors. But when you become a man, you're supposed to put off childish things. What are those childish things that we need to put off as men? Using women for sex. Using women for sex is a childish thing. Just getting with a woman just to lay up with her, that's a childish thing. And all over YouTube, you'll see that. Pickup artists, dating coaches telling you how to score, how to do this, how to do that. All of that is childish behavior. When a man truly become a man, he realized what's important, and he say to himself, you know what? I'm going to settle down with this lady right here, start a family, and be a man. Because he finally realized what life is all about, and he don't want to die and never accomplish building a family. Do you understand me? You got to put off the childish things. Pumping and dumping our sisters, childish thing. Smashing and dashing, childish thing. Seeing if you could hook up with this sister right here, one night stand, and then you leave her alone, and she's calling you trying to see what's up, and you're ignoring all her calls because you got what you needed. That's a childish thing. Playing games with women, childish thing. Brothers, we have to be about building. And if you have not yet started a family, if you have not yet gotten into a relationship with a woman and actually got to the point where it's a long-term relationship, then you're not prepared for polygyny. How can a man, as I stated, start a business? The business haven't even been successful yet, but yet he want to branch out and start another one down the street. No, it's gonna fail. Because the first one haven't even matured yet. Brothers, you gotta wake up to this truth. Because most of you are not really prepared. And I know that bothers you because you figure, well, you're a man, you're dating women, you figure, okay, I can do this. Who are you to tell me I'm not prepared for polygyny? Bro, polygyny is about a man having more than one wife, not more than one girlfriend that he's hitting, not more than one woman he's dating. Anybody can date, anybody can go out. That's normal. But as a man, when you're able to coexist with a woman and have to deal with the BS, have to deal with her feelings, have to deal with the emotions, have to deal with the children, the ups and downs of a relationship, the good, the bad, the ugly, to coexist, seeing a woman happy 1 minute, sad the next minute, not talking to you 1 minute, going through her phases, being on her period, mood swings. You got to deal with all of that nonsense. Then you got to be a provider. Then you got to take care of your children. You got to pay the rent. You got to pay the light. You got to pay the gas. You got to be responsible for those bills. Then you got to look at the future, and you got to start planning for the future. And you got to do all these things as a man, watching your children grow, buying them clothes, being supportive, teaching them life skills. A lot of things got to come into this thing as a man. So you're doing all of that stuff. You're gaining the experience of a man. You're gaining the experience of what it's like to be a husband. If you don't got that under your belt as a man, how could you have more than one wife? How could you? You don't got no experience. You have to start a family. You have to have a woman long term. To all you brothers that have a wife right now, you got a woman right now, you know how a woman act. You know how women move. You know how to deal with women because you already have a woman. You already may have children. Once that has been established, you are the perfect candidate for another woman. Why? Because you already been with your woman for at least 3 years. You know what I'm saying? If you've been with a woman at least 3 to 5 years, there's a lot of things you know about this woman. After that point, I think at this point, you know and have experienced a lot because you will never know a woman, brothers, until you live with her. You will never know what a man is like to you sisters until you live with him or he live with you or he's around you. Because it's not necessarily just living with the person, even though that's the main one we would want. But if a man is always around you, always at your house, always near you, always talking, you begin to start to learn about him. It doesn't mean you know him. You'll just learn little things. Because it takes years to know somebody. It takes years to get to know someone from the heart. But what I'm trying to teach you brothers is when it comes to practicing polygyny as a man, in order to be prepared, you have to already have an established relationship. You just can't be a single brother watching my videos and then talk about, well, I'm ready to have multiple wives. You know what I'm saying? I can handle that. No, you can't. No, you can't, bro. You can't. You can't. This is why sisters say little stuff like, you brothers talking about you want multiple wives, but you can't even handle one woman. You can't even deal with one woman. In most instances, there's truth to what they say because a lot of you brothers, you fail in just a relationship with one woman. And you don't fail because it didn't work out the way it needs to work out. A lot of times, a woman can be a problem. A lot of times, you could be with a woman that is not cooperative with you. Sometimes you could be with a woman who's just argumentative, and she make things difficult. And then she'll try to flip it on you by saying the reason why it's not working is because of you, and it's not because of you. It's because she is cantankerous, argumentative, don't want to cooperate with you, making life difficult because of her selfish ways and insecurities. You understand my point? So it's not necessarily that you can't make it work. She don't want it to work. So she'll create the turbulence and make problems develop. But what I'm trying to make you understand is whether turbulence is there and problems is there, as a man, in order to coexist with women and to build in polygyny, you got to have life experience. You got to learn how to deal with women. You got to interact with women so that you can know how women move. You got to deal with women to understand when they're sad, when they're happy, when they feel good, when they, you got to know how to make love to a woman. You got to know how to have sex with a woman. You got to know how to please a woman. All these different things you got to know how to do. How are you going to know, or how can you have multiple wives when you don't even know how to please a woman? How could you? How could you have multiple wives and you can't even please one woman? How could you? You can't even please one woman. So how could you have multiple wives? For what? You can't even please one. How could you? How could you have multiple wives when you're behind on your rent? How could you have multiple wives when you are struggling to pay your bills right now? How could you have multiple wives when you're not even taking care of the wife that you got right now? You don't buy her no clothes. You don't take care of the house in terms of furnishing the house. You don't buy her nice things. You don't treat her to anything good. You're not supportive in any way financially. In most cases, you don't even want to work. You want to sit on your tail while she's working and you at home playing PlayStation, but yet you want to have multiple wives? No, you're not prepared. You're not prepared, bro. You have not yet became a man. You're still doing childish things. She's out there working, you home playing PlayStation. Nothing wrong with playing PlayStation. I'm a gamer. I'm into PS3, PS4, PS5. I'm into the Xbox. I'm into all of these different games. But at the end of the day, bro, responsibilities come first. Playtime is later. Business first, playtime later. You got to handle your business as a man. If your woman is working and you not, you still acting like a child. You understand me? If your woman is worried about where we gonna get our next plate of food, you are acting like a child because you supposed to be providing to make sure that the house got food, bro. One of the requirements for a man practicing polygyny is if he take upon him another wife, her food and her raiment shall he not diminish. That's in the scriptures. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. Let me see. Let me throw that into the video too. Check it out. Right here. According to the Bible, and we're going to read it right here. It says in Exodus 21:10, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Now, brothers, if you're supposed to be a man and your wife is dependent on you to be a provider, you're supposed to be making sure the house got food in it. You're supposed to be making sure that she has clothes to wear. You're supposed to make sure that she have boots to wear, sandals in the summertime, a nice sundress. You know, the kids got to have clothes. All of these things you're supposed to be providing as a man. Yeah, you. And if you're not doing that, you have not become a man yet. That's your responsibility as a man. You owe that to your family. If you have more than one wife, guess what, brother? You got to provide her shoes. You got to provide her clothes. I'm not talking about spoiling your wives, but you got to maintain them. See, a lot of times when women hear polygyny, they think all you guys got to be millionaires, spending all this money on them. No. We're not doing that. We're not spoiling none of you sisters. You're going to work. You're going to be wives. You're going to honor us. You're going to respect us. You're going to serve. You're going to cater to your man. You being a wife is not about you sitting on your tail while your man is paying all these bills, putting kids through school, doing all of this nonsense, and yet you just sitting there gaining all these benefits and you ain't providing nothing for this man? You think just because you got a vagina between your legs that somehow that's going to grant you access to all the abundance of life? No, that's not how it works. There got to be decency and order. Things got to be done in decency and in order. I'm trying to get brothers to do the right thing. So you sisters, you need to pay attention too. Because if you're not going to do what your role requires as a wife, you're not deserving of a quality man. You understand? As a man, if you take you another wife, the Bible says her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not be diminished, which means you are responsible for clothing her, you're responsible for feeding her, and you're responsible for delegating what task she's to do in terms of her duties as a wife. You're not supposed to diminish anything or show any partiality or favoritism when it comes to your wife by giving one wife more of a task. In other words, your job is to cook the whole week and go food shopping by yourself and take care of the kids while the other wife can sit on the patio relaxing. No, that's not how we're going to do things. You got to balance everything out as a man. Because just like in a company, if you're the CEO or the manager or the supervisor, you got your employees, you got your staff, and you got to make sure that everybody's doing their task. Business or owning a business is the closest thing you're going to get to understanding a marriage union. Understanding how a business works will teach you everything you need to know on how polygyny works. So as a man, in order to practice polygyny to its fullest potential, you got to understand business. I cannot branch out and start a new business if my current business have not been successful. How do you know when your first business been successful? How do you know as a man? when you made a woman your wife. When you made a woman your wife, you'll know that your first business have become successful. When you've been with her for at least 3 to 5 years, you know your business has been successful. I recommend a man being with a woman for at least 5 years. I personally feel, as a man, and you don't have to follow that, but I personally believe that before you go out there to try to practice polygyny, having more than one wife, and, having all these women around you and having concubines and all of this, brothers, please pay attention to what your brother's saying. I recommend that as a man, if you settle down with a woman, that you deal with her for at least 5 years before you even think about having multiple wives. Now, you can have consorts, meaning that you're talking to women, getting to know women. But I'm talking about taking it to the next level where you make a woman your wife or your concubine. I think that you should wait at least 5 years. I think that's my advice. Like how Paul gave advice? I'm giving advice. The reason why, a lot of you brothers are coming from the area of lust. A lot of you brothers are coming from the areas of selfishness, being a pump and dumper, a smash and dasher, and you bring that into relationships. So a lot of times when you come to these sisters, your mindset is not focused on building family. So if you get with a sister and you just got with her, you just made her your wife, the last thing you want to do is mingle with other women, and you didn't even get the chance to get to know the woman that you're currently married to. Give that time to flourish. Give that time for her to have a baby. You know what I'm saying? Let her have a child or two. See how things go as you move with that one woman. You're not practicing monogamy. You are polygynous by nature. Your relationship is built upon polygyny, but you must start off with one woman and let it flourish. Let it grow. Let that relationship prosper. Have some children. Learn about your wife that you currently have. Go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Learn about women nature, female nature. After 5 years, you want to have another wife based on your needs and requirements. Now you can move into that area. Now you can branch out and find another wife. Because you know the woman that you're with. You have history with the woman you're with. She has been established as a good helpmate. She cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the house, she takes care of the children. You take care of her. You're a good provider. You developed as a man. You're no longer thinking like a child. You have become a man. Now you have the qualifications to branch out and start a new company. It's not necessarily new or separate from your current marriage. It's simultaneously together. It's just a different branch. We follow the same protocols. We follow the same rules. But we know because of our first business, we had success. Being that you got that success, you have the qualifications now as a man to deal with another woman, and it can be successful even faster. Even faster. Why? Because of your experience with the first wife, your second wife, you'll be able to have faster results. Why? Because of everything you learned in your first relationship. You developed over the years. No different than working out. You working out, you gaining strength, you gaining muscle. Because of that, you're able to lift more weights. Brothers, I'm speaking. When you lift weights and you develop your muscles and you get those gains, you're able to lift more weight. You're able to bench more weight. You're able to handle more pressure. You can deal with more personalities. As men, we were built to multitask with women. We were built to deal with multiple women. But it should never start off as multiple women. It should start off with one. At least 5 years, brothers, minimum. Deal with that woman for 5 years minimum. This is my professional advice for any man trying to get into polygyny. Deal with the woman you're dealing with for at least 5 years. As a wife, she must be your wife. Long term. You must have children. Don't be like these brothers you see on social media who are posing with multiple wives, but they not having no children. Peep the game. When you see a man talking about, oh, these are all my wives, but he's not having no kids, those are not wives. Those are sex buddies. Those are sex buddies. Those are not wives. A man's supposed to be reproducing with his wives. If a man is not reproducing, those are not his wives. If a man is not reproducing, those are not his wives, brothers. Be mindful of what I'm saying, because I'm speaking facts. Real truth here. You understand? So, with that being said, are men prepared for polygyny in today's day? I would say yes and no. Because you got brothers out there that are in relationships. You got brothers out there that are married. They have a wife long term for more than 5 years. They've been productive men. They proven themselves. It's just like when the Bible talks about being a bishop, a man that's blameless. It gives you requirements. There's certain things you got to have, brothers, before you can branch out and talk about polygyny. It's not about sex. It's about building family. And if you haven't even built a family, why do you have more than one wife? Think about that. Polygyny is about building family. So if it's about building family, how could you just jump into it talking about I want more than one wife in the beginning? You never even had a wife. You haven't even established a family yet, but you want more than one wife. No, it don't work that way. It don't work that way, brothers. You got to establish a family first so that you can be proven worthy to start that other family. Not only that, why would a woman trust you under polygyny if you don't have a family? That's another thing. Peep the game. Women are not stupid. A woman will be more comfortable with a man she know that has a family because she know he understands family. A man that have no family, never had no experience, a woman will question. A woman will question whether or not being with you, because if you never had a family, don't have no experience, that could be a problem. But if you have a family, you have children, or whatever the case is, she can see that you're established. You have been proven, tried, tested, long term. You've been through the fire. You're most likely a provider. You have a beautiful wife, so obviously this woman sees something in you. You must be a good lover because you got all these kids. So it's like, okay, women will be more amped to be with you because they know they're getting quality. That's why businesses are able to branch out and create new branches, because they've been successful with one. They've been faithful of one. Now you can be faithful of another. A lot of women be thinking that when a man practices polygyny, he's not being faithful. No, he's being faithful, because if he's already been faithful to one woman and he's shown himself to be a quality man to provide and be a husbandman to that one woman, and he did that for 5 years or more, he is qualified to be able to have another woman because he has been proven to be with a woman long term. He wasn't a pump and dumper. He's not a smash and dasher. He's with this woman for the long haul. So when a woman see that, it gives her confidence to know if she get with his brother, he's about his business. So that's about it, y'all. So are men today prepared for polygyny? Yes and no. A lot of you brothers, you're not prepared. You don't have a wife. You're not even trying to get to know women. You're busy trying to screw. You're busy trying to get a woman in bed. You're not ready for polygyny. So if that's you, you're not ready for polygyny. You're not. It is what it is. If you're not trying to build a family with a woman, start a relationship long term, then you're not ready. You're not ready at all. You know, if you're the type of brother that got a relationship and it's been successful and you're ready to go to the next level, you're qualified because you got the experience. So I hope this helps. I hope you brothers are able to make good decisions when it comes to this. Polygyny is for all of us brothers. Having more than one wife is for all of us brothers, but we must go about it the right way. We just can't jump into polygyny because we have the birthright. We got to be men. We can't be thinking like children, getting with women just to screw. No, let's get with these women because we want to love these women. Let's get with these women because they're precious and we want to lead and guide them. We want to build wealth. We want to build family. We want to have children as men. We got to make these women believe in us, trust in us, and honor us at the same time. You're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So all you single brothers out there that got no wives, you brothers need to work on this. Don't be so quick to just jump into polygyny because it's your birthright to have more than one woman. And don't misuse polygyny by talking about, I'm going to date this woman, date that woman, and screw this one and screw that one. If you're doing that, you're not practicing polygyny. You're just a whoremonger male. You're a pump and dumper in disguise. Don't do that. Because by the time you try to really settle down with a woman to be with her, it's not going to be successful. Because you've been so accustomed to being a player. You've been so accustomed to pumping and dumping that you can't be faithful to the woman. And being faithful is not about you being exclusive to one woman. It means that you are taking care of her long term. In other words, you'll get with the woman and then you'll quit and you'll leave her. We need you to be with that woman long term. So with that said, it's time for you brothers to stop being children, put off childish things, and be a man. Be a man. That's what it's time for right now, brothers. Be a man. No more playing games. No more nonsense. Do what the scriptures says. Do what the scriptures says, brothers. Be a man. Put off childish things. Put off all the childish things. If you take another wife, her food, raiment, duty of marriage shall he not diminish. It is what it is. This is what you brothers got to do. You know what I mean? You take a wife, take her under your wing, do what you got to do, grow with her, and just prosper. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Brothers, it's time to put away childish things when it comes to polygyny. Put away the BS. Put away the games. You get with a sister, be with that sister long term. Minimum 5 years. Build with her. Get to know her. Love her, cherish her. You get to know her, she get to know you. Have some children. Get to know one another. Play, fuss, fight. Do what you gotta do. Get it all out. Get the experience. Build it up. Build up. Get a nice place together. Decorate the place. Know what it's like to pay the bills. You gotta do this to gain the experience. And then once you do that and it's been successful and you got children, 1 child, 2, now you've gained the experience, brother. Now if you want to have another wife, you know how it works. And you're an honorable man. Now you can go do what you need to do. It's just my advice, brothers. With that being said, I'm going to sign out. This is Black Male Advice TV, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth, 100% raw and uncut. I'm out, y'all. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Black Male Advice TV, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth, 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.